So raise your hands if you're here for the organic tofu natural childbirth class. I know a lot of you are here for that, and I have some bad news, unfortunately. I'm really sorry to be the bearer of bad tidings, but for those of you who weren't here for that and who don't know about that, that's basically where you eat your baby's birth weight in tofu. And this causes kind of a yin-yang thing to happen inside of you with the tofu and the baby just kind of zens out of you. It just kind of goes, Sawari. Anyway, so we're not going to do that tonight, unfortunately. We had to commandeer the space for an emergency meeting of the committee to get San Francisco a real progressive candidate for mayor for once. And, we've got to do it. We can't have another mayor named Bevan or Gavin or Blevin or Blurvin or Blarvin. Blarvin is the worst, actually. We're gonna rally around. But luckily, organic tofu natural childbirth is going to be part of our strategy, because only through marshaling all our resources can we win this. And so, in fact, what we're going to do is we're going to create a Sakyamuni-shaped hole in the space-time continuum, travel back through time by controlling our colons to 2002, and cause Matt Gonzalez to have a really, really, really bad haircut, so that all of the hipsters and bicycle polyamorists will stop believing in his political career. And he won't run for mayor, and then we won't have the great desertion of whatever year that was, 2004. And then we might actually have a real progressive candidate now, but that's not the only thing we're going to do. Here's where the power of tofu comes in. Okay, are you ready? Basically, part of the reason why many of you are here is because a great many of you in this room are actually secretly lamas, or actually the reincarnation of Tibetan lamas, who were among the greatest, mystics and lamas of their time. They almost achieved enlightenment and stopped being reincarnated, but they failed to. They almost did, but they failed because they made the very common mistake of masturbating while looking at the Tibetan Book of the Dead, which happens a lot because it's a sexy book. It's a really sexy book. So, but this is going to come in handy because we're going to help you to have a moment of transformation where you transform from lama into yeti. You're going to be like a beer yeti, and because the next mayor of San Francisco really has to be like part lama, part yeti, part bicycle polyamorist in order to kind of work with all of the bases in the city. So what we're going to do is we're going to work with you on your breathing, and the same kind of breathing exercises that you would have done had you been using organic tofu to give birth. You're going to do those now, and actually look at the person to your left. That is not actually a person. That is a person-shaped pile of tofu, which has been shaped by some of the finest tofu cosmetologists in the country. We've been working on this for weeks, I'm serious. And you're going to eat that person-shaped tofu pile right now, and then you're going to control your breathing, and you're going to breathe into your sphincter, which is, if you've ever breathed into your sphincter, it's like your sphincter, except it has all of the riddles of the universe inside of it, and when you breathe into it, it opens up a doorway of perception. Okay, so are you ready? Are you ready to do this?
Yeah.
Good! Okay, so here to help us with our breathing exercises is Loren Kraut. Loren Kraut, and she's an amazing comedian as well as a breathing facilitator. I've been trying to get her for ages. She did a show called, I think, OCD ADD comedy. Is that right? And I think she actually does have OCD, and but in her case, it actually is it's actually justified because she's what's known in the business as sort of an improbability vector. So that, for example, if she fails to wash her hands one time, the bioterrorism incubators that are her palms will basically create an entire, outbreak of SARS, rubella, and Ebola all in one, and take out most of the West Coast before anybody knows what the fuck has happened. She leaves her oven on, basically the fireball could take out San Francisco. And so it's good, it's actually very, very good that she's OCD. And, although it is her fault that she's OCD, because originally, back when she was starting out, Loren Kraut realized that causality and probability itself were social constructs. And that if we lived in a state of nature, there would be no probability and everything would be happening all the time. And, you know, she managed to like advance this theory to the point where she went on a visionary journey and actually laughed in the face of entropy, which, entropy actually liked that. Entropy has a really good sense of humor. And entropy kind of laughed back, and they hung out, they joked around, it was good. They decided to like take it on the road and become a comedy duo. So they went around the country as like Loren and Entropy. They did a bunch of small clubs, they did a bunch of open mics, you know. Her deadpan delivery worked really, really well with Entropy's kind of Gallagher style, like destroying stuff on stage style of comedy, which is pretty much the only kind of comedy Entropy can do if you think about it. And it was great for a while, and they got bigger and bigger venues, and they were on MTV, and you know, people's television sets were melting when Entropy came on, and it was awesome. But you know, Entropy with the drugs and the booze and the groupies, and Entropy's ego kind of got out of control too. Like Entropy would go on and on and on about like, why aren't I the first law of thermodynamics? I mean, what the fuck? Anyway, so it just got ugly, and they had a falling out. And as you can imagine, if you have a falling out with Entropy, it gets messy. Anyway, and so hence the reason why she is now a vector, an probability vector, and she has to maintain absolute control at all times, or everything could melt down, including all of you. So watch out, and welcome Loren Kraut.